Howdy, everyone. Welcome to Tilson Live. It is Tuesday. It's 2 o'clock. We are live on Facebook, live on YouTube. I am one of your hosts, Eric Alarid, part of the fourth generation of the Tilson family, coming at you live this Tuesday, joined by Dawn Dantzler, Vice President of Marketing and Customer Experience for Tilson Homes. Good afternoon, Dawn.
Hey, Eric. How's it going?
It's going great. Going really, really great. It is springtime. There's bluebonnets. We're on our third winter. Our third winter is in full effect, but don't worry, it'll be in the 80s tomorrow, so we'll have our first fake spring, or our second fake spring, depends on how you count them. But we have the pollinating is, I think, over with in the greater eastern part of the state, but the Central Texas folks are about to get their first dose of the pollinating. So everybody be eating your honey and get your allergies under control. You're going to need that. But yeah, it's Tuesday. It's 2 o'clock. We are live on Facebook, live on YouTube, as we are each and every week, except last week because it was spring break. But every other week apart from that, this is what we're doing for you guys to answer all of your questions regarding building a home on your land somewhere in Texas. So drop in the comments, drop us where you're watching from, where you're building, what part of the process that you're in. Maybe you're just starting this whole idea out. Maybe you're sitting in your subdivision home, looking out your window at your neighbor's kid who is home on spring break, playing basketball till 3 a.m. with their friends. And hey, you don't have to live like that. You don't have to do that.
No.
You can, if that's what brings you joy, you can live like that. You can. But if it doesn't bring you joy and you envision this idea of being out on a couple of acres, with a barbed wire fence around you somewhere, and maybe you have a goat or a chicken or a donkey or something like that, and that's your neighbor. If you have that idea, as it turns out, that's why we're here, to help you achieve that lifestyle. So drop in the comments, Tell us where you're watching from, where you're building, what part of the process that you're in. Maybe you're further on down. Maybe you've already done a contract with us and you are picking your colors out, or you've done a site evaluation meeting and you've got questions about that, or maybe you're under construction, you got questions about that, or maybe you've already done this whole thing and you are here to impart wisdom and hope and all the wonderful things about your experience onto our audience. We're here for all of that. And Dawn, what will we be discussing this fine Tuesday afternoon?
So this Tuesday is Ask Us Anything. So we are here to just answer any of your questions about building on your land. We suggest, kind of staying focused on that. I mean, we'll talk about everything else, but our opinions get a lot less reliable the further you move away from building on your land in Texas. But yeah, this show is just for you guys. So for you to ask us, whatever questions you have about the process, and for us to just chat. So.
For sure. Yeah. So we're here. Obviously, we can talk about design changes. We can talk about site preparation. We can talk about looking for land, what you should be looking for, things you should ask for if you're making an offer on a piece of property, some things that you may want to include when you're asking about those things. We can talk about financing. How does that work? What's a construction loan? How come Tilson doesn't require you to get one of those? We can talk about all that. We can talk about customizations. We can talk about construction phases. Why do we use certain products? We are here to answer all of those questions. We can also talk crappie fishing. These are other things I'm allowed to talk. We can talk about fishing for crappie. We can talk about, we can do some inshore. I'm much better at freshwater fishing, but we can talk a little bit of inshore fishing if you want. We can turn this into a fishing show. We can do that. I'd be okay with that. We can talk about septic systems. We can talk about water wells. We can talk about clearing your property, getting it ready for construction. We can talk about culverts. We can talk about getting permits, either from the Texas Department of Transportation or from your local county or municipality. We can talk about subdivision, architectural control committees, property owner associations. These are all things that we have expertise about. Did I mention crappie fishing? I mentioned that, didn't I?
You did, yes.
Yes, these are things that we can speak about, and we're here to help you guys. So we can talk about Waco and San Marcos and some things that are happening there, some updates. We may even have some seminars coming up. There is also coming in Republic Grand Ranch. There is a parade of homes. We will have a presence there, I do believe. And so we're excited about that. What other things can we talk about? What's new? We got some new floor plans that have come out recently.
We do. We have new plans that we can talk about, so we can go through some of those. We've got
beautiful.
Whatever you guys want to talk about today.
You guys, folks, jump in. Tell us where you're watching from. Tell us where you're building, what part of the process that you're in. We want to hear from you. And then any kind of questions. We've got a few boilerplate things that we can talk about that are pretty common, and that'll help spur the conversation. But again, we are here at your disposal these are for you guys to learn more, because we genuinely do believe that a well-educated buyer is the happiest kind of homeowner, at least in our experience. So jump in. What's going on? Dawn, who's
All right.
so far?
We have Robert joining us from Avant. We finally closed on our LaSalle. Awesome.
Congratulations,
That's the
Robert.
best part of the
Welcome.
process. Great. We've got Susan watching from rainy California. We're building a Travis A in Fort Bend County, and the framing has started. So it's starting to look like a house. Oh, that's awesome.
Very cool.
Very exciting.
Wonderful. Yeah, y'all got hit hard out there on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm. We got Dorothy saying, hey, hi, Dorothy. Thanks for joining us.
Howdy. Welcome.
We've got Brad, hi from Webster, Texas, looking to build on a 1-acre lot in Bell County, Harker Heights, overlooking Stillhouse Hollow Lake. The utilities are in place. Estimate about 10-foot cut in hill on lot. Estimate on cut price. All
right, Brad. So that's a tough one, because I don't know how wide that cut's going to have to be. But in essence, what you'll also want to do, and you may not have to do a cut. So let's talk about a couple of options here. So
what is the cut? What does it mean by cut?
I was about to draw one of my really terrible pictures. So everyone brace yourself.
Yes, drawing with Eric. We haven't done this in a while.
Yes, it's the Bob Ross section of our program. So no pictures of that, please. That did not happen.
Okay. Darn. I was going to say, Kelsey went run into the camera.
No, please no. All right. So we have a hill. This is a hill.
Okay.
Everybody see the hill? This is a hill.
Yes.
This is a loose interpretation of Brad's property. What Brad's talking about when he says do a cut is we're talking about bringing in equipment, usually a dozer or excavator, and I'm going to draw a dash line, and we're going to cut out an area that so this is a profile view. This is the side view, and the house is going to sit in this area here. Okay.
Got it.
Talking about 10, and he says 10 feet. This part over here is what I'm guessing he's talking about being a 10-foot cut to get it down flat. And then we would build the house here. You're going to love this house. It's a really nice house. Pretty plain by our standards, but a very, very nice house. So then the house would sit down there. Okay.
Okay.
So on the bottom of that flat part of the cut. The issue is you got to do something with making sure that we don't.
Yeah. What do you do with the 10-foot wall?
Yeah, exactly. Looking out the back or front, whichever. And we got to do something to make sure water doesn't get trapped here. So I'm okay with cuts in certain instances. 10 foot's pretty extreme. What we may end up doing is sometimes what's called a cut and fill. So same situation, same cut that we're going to do, right? So all that's the same. But we may come back and do some layers of material and fill that area in with some fill, and then build the house on that, so that we're not putting. What we don't want to ever do, if we can help it, is putting the house down in a hole.
Right.
Where water could run in on your back porch. Water could run into your garage. That's one of the things we're worried about. Certainly, it doesn't rain as much in Salado, Bell County, Harker Heights area as it does in Webster. So you got a little bit, but when it does rain, water's moving.
It means
it's running really hard downhill. So there's a couple of options. There's a pad we could do. There's cut and fill. And those are going to vary in cost. I mean, it may be as little as $25,000, could be as much as $75,000. And without knowing exactly what kind of house we're talking about, I say look at the new Brazoria, but again, I would investigate a couple of, in some cases you can use the cut material to raise the pad. It'll depend on what we can evaluate from like a geotechnical investigation of what that material is. That material that we want the house sitting on, probably fine. If we're able to cut it like that, we can probably use that. And so that would be more the cut and fill route, which is what I would be more inclined to recommend, just because it's a hybrid of the two. You're not putting the house so far down and have to do something to not just, you're going to have a view issue there.
You have to do like a retaining wall.
And we got to have a way to hold that material back from eroding over time and falling onto the house. So that's, I'm a cut and fill recommender in a situation like that. And, but basically once we get a site evaluator out there, that's exactly the route we'll go. And we'll get multiple bids, and get the best solution for you.
Okay. Brad says, awesome, well explained. So thank you for that.
Brad Lifetime Pictures. Thank you, Brad. Take that. Bob Ross's estate. Please don't sue me.
All right. We've got Dustin saying, hey, y'all, watching from San Antonio, looking to build in Somerset, Texas. Great content and love watching these videos. Looking to meet with a rep soon for initial meeting. Awesome.
Hey, Dustin,
So
it's never too soon to go meet with one, really. I mean, here's the deal. They get paid to sit in those sales offices, whether you go see them or not. So you might as well spend some time.
Go
It
see them.
doesn't cost a penny to go talk to them. Set up an appointment, go sit down and talk to them. The folks there in Bernie have been selling in Somerset since the early 1980s. So we got a lot of experience out that way. And thanks for Dawn appreciates the marketing shout out, the content.
Yes.
Big marketing buzzword, makes her happy. I know Amanda and Kelsey behind the scenes, super excited about that.
Yes, we love it. We got James and good afternoon. My wife and I just purchased 10 acres down by Hico, Texas. Yeah. We have a house we will be selling in Frisco while we build. Looking to get some high-level overview of the process.
Dawn, can you give them a high-level overview of the process?
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is what we were talking about before, kind of come in, like we were telling Dustin, come on in, check us out, talk with, reach out to one of our new home consultants, ideally make an appointment to sit down with one of our design consultants, and they'll just kind of talk through everything with your property, bring in the survey and everything so they'll know what we're dealing with, all of that, and we'll kind of help you narrow it down to what floor plan you want to look at. And then from there, we'll customize everything for you. You can take a look at all of our design options, kind of pick out exactly what you want to do inside that house. And then hopefully we can get everything prepared for you, get you to sign an agreement with us. Once you've signed that agreement, we start, making all of your color selections official. We send your plans off to drafting to, draw up any of the changes that you made. We'll also send a land prep specialist out to your site to meet with you and kind of talk about where you want to put your house, where utilities are going to be, all of that kind of stuff. They'll give you a nice little to-do list of everything that needs to be done while we get ready to build. And then we'll get everything done, get you signed off. We'll be, if you're financing the home, we'll be doing everything with that lender, getting your upfront appraisal there, and then we move on to construction when everything's good to go.
Beautiful.
So yeah, super, super high level.
It is high level, but there's some key points in there, right? You got the appraisal up front. That's a big deal. A lot of builders and lenders don't do that. They wait till the end to get that appraisal. It's a dangerous situation because you don't find out until weeks before closing if you might have to have a down payment because of an equity position or something like that. So that's really, really important that you get that done up front before anyone drives a nail. Have that appraisal, the as-built appraisal in hand, so you know exactly where you stand from equity position.
The other thing I left out, once you meet with your land prep specialist and say, this is where I want to put your house, we're going to do some soil testing right there on the property to make sure everything's good so we could get that foundation designed specific to your site and specific to where your house is going to go. So
and you're going to love
thing you want to make sure.
You're going to love Hico.
Yeah, it's awesome. All right. We've got Alex saying good afternoon. Good afternoon, Alex.
Howdy,
Thanks for joining us.
Welcome.
We have Chris, who is watching from Fort Worth, framing underway in beautiful Possum Kingdom. Awesome.
Nice.
And then we've got Lisa, hello from Fort Worth, building to be determined plan in Bandera County, hopefully starting later this summer. Awesome.
Yeah, Lisa, get in. Let's get the
let's
get
go.
those questions answered. Let's get on the design phase. We got to get you a design going.
Yeah. And then Lisa, it's important to know you can pick your office, so you can work with our Weatherford location that's right there near Fort Worth if you prefer to do that and you want to visit them for all of your appointments, or you can head on down to closer to you, go to the Bernie office or whatever.
She gets to pass a lot of offices on her way down, so she can go.
She does. You can stop if you really wanted to.
Waco.
Check all the models out along the way. Like, you can have a good time.
You can head out to Weatherford, work with them, and then go straight down 281, end up closer to Bernie. Like, whatever works for you. You've got
stop at multiple Buc-ee's along the way. You can see the full history of Buc-ee's. Like,
you have options. You have options.
We have Tim asking, do y'all prefer to do the pad sites or third party already in place prior to y'all coming out to look?
Great question, Tim. So my answer to that would be it kind of depends on how far out you are thinking about doing this. I mean, in most situations, we prefer to do it, right? Mainly because we have the dimensions of the home, which is really, really important. So if you're having it done ahead of time, the top of the pad, so remember a pad, 2 pictures in
You get
one
to try
show.
again.
Woo!
All right, let me zoom out so everybody can see.
Today's a great day.
Full paper.
Yeah. So, if you're doing a pad, obviously it's going to start at ground level because that's what gravity does. And then we're gonna build it up. And it's going to typically be done in 6 to 8 inch lifts, rolled and compacted kind of thing will be great. So the dirt is layered in there. And then the house obviously is built on top of that, just like we were doing for our friend earlier. And so, but understanding that the top of the pad portion here, this needs to be 5 feet bigger than the overall dimension of the house. Right. So you don't want to have basically like the edge of the house and then that's sitting on the edge of the pad. Right. You want to have at least 5 feet from that edge of the slab of the home to the edge of the pad before it starts to slope down. This is typically a 3-to-1 slope is what we recommend at a minimum. I guess it'd be a maximum. 2-to-1 would be a 45-degree angle, if that gives you an idea. So a little less than a 45-degree angle, 3-to-1. But the biggest part being that you really need to know what house plan you're talking about doing and have the dimensions for the house, porches, garage, in other words, your total footprint, right? And then the top of that pad has to be 5 feet bigger than that, which means the bottom of the pad, because it's a trapezoid, needs to start even larger than that. I hope that makes sense. So, the bottom of your pad may be 10 or 12 feet bigger, depending on how much the slope is, than the overall footprint of your home. So that's what we run into most is when people they've not taken into account the overall dimension of the house, and the top of the pad ends up being a little bit too small to accommodate the home, or one edge of the home is right on the corner of the pad, and that's not a good situation because you're going to have some erosion on that pad, and what you don't want is for that erosion to then expose one of your exterior beams. And then somebody could compromise underneath that, wash out underneath that beam, and then your dirt's not supporting the beam, and that creates all kinds of issues. So I'd say if you're in a position, let's come out and take a look at it first. That'd be great. If you're getting a great, somehow awesome deal on dirt, ask a lot of questions, but definitely get the overall dimensions done. I'm not a massive fan of just like we have some customers that they get talked into, hey, I'm going to build you a pond, and then I'll take all this material and we'll spread it out over here, and this will be your house site. There are some situations where that's fine. Like it's good dirt. There's other situations where they're doing that because they know they can't sell it to anyone else. So why would they haul it off? It needs to just be spread out over here. So just ask a lot of questions. Obviously we're on the hook for the foundation warranty. So we're going to give you the advice that's going to obviously lean towards making your slab last a long time, which I think is probably the best advice you're going to get.
Yeah,
so, good question.
He says he's building in Hempstead, and they're building up around a 1/4 acre to be ready for future shop.
Yeah, I mean that's a big pad. If you think about, 1/4 acres is somewhere in the 10,000, 12,000 square feet, which is the size of most residential lots, even bigger. So you figure an 80 by 100 foot lot in a master plan community that's only 8,100, 8,200 square feet. So you're building up a very large area. That would be more than enough probably to accommodate it. Just again, as you get closer to the edges, I would just be mindful of what house plan you're looking at, what the overall dimensions actually are, and your sales consultant can help you with that.
Well, and I would also say, like Eric was saying, be aware of what dirt they're using. Like document it. Like kind of know where it's coming from, how they compacted that pad, all of that, because the soil investigation that I was talking about earlier, those engineers get my official term is twitchy when they see dirt of unknown origin. So if they're iffy about the dirt, they're going to want to dig deeper. So if you know where that dirt came from and all of that, that will kind of help them be a little bit more reassured about what's going on. Because
great input.
We're erring on the side of caution to make sure that your foundation is going to last. So
very good advice.
They're going to want to know. Yeah. And we've got Angela. Hello, watching from Kaufman County. I'm so excited for our construction meeting on Thursday. We're building a Cypress in Leon County. Awesome.
Oh, nice. I love Leon County.
Nice. And we've got Marcel asking, can we choose our own interior design, utilities, windows, doors?
Okay, so Yes, I mean we obviously we have options. So what you see in the model homes isn't the only thing that we offer. I recommend sitting with a design consultant. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't yet, but that is an area that we have a lot of options on. As far as windows, interior doors alone, I think there's 6 or 8 different door styles that to choose from, and that's hollow core. We also offer solid core doors as an option. So I mean, there's a lot that we can do as far as like providing your own. That's not typically something that we delve off into, but give us an idea of what you're really after. Because we're not limited to necessarily what we only have in the design centers. We can ask for other things. I mean, we have very large suppliers. So I just would double check and find out. I don't know what we mean by utilities. So I'd want a little more explanation on that. Maybe we're talking electrical fixtures and plumbing fixtures. We just rolled out a new lighting program, and there's a ton of options in there. But yeah, I mean, we do different types of windows where we have, I know a lot of people that are leaning towards these black windows, or they're black on the outside, white on the inside. That is something that we can get priced out. I think we have to do a request to get that because the pricing is very, but those have come. Oh, gas fixtures. Okay, so we're talking about your dryer. So we don't provide the washer, dryer, and the refrigerator. We can, but that's so if you're looking at the base prices on our website, your washer, your dryer, and your refrigerator are not included in that price. All of your other built-in appliances are. And then yes, we have Frigidaire Gallery, Frigidaire Professional, Electrolux, and then we have access to other brands. If you can't find something like it there, but as far as like you're really just talking about your cooktop, probably. Or a dual fuel range of some sort. Gas ovens, the biggest gas oven you're going to be able to get is 24-inch. So I do not recommend that at all. So whether you want convection or otherwise, conventional oven, it's going to be a 27 or 30-inch. It's going to be electric. And the only other gas fixtures you'd be looking at would be maybe your water heaters or your furnaces, but and those are spec'd out pretty easily. But yeah, I mean we have options. So
okay, perfect. All right, we've got Denise. Hello, joining late. Our slab was poured this morning at 3 a.m. We could not make it, but Eli took pictures for us. Thanks, Eli. Oh, that's awesome.
Very nice.
I don't blame you. I don't go anywhere at 3 a.m.
I hope
either.
Eli is headed to bed by now. That's what
yes.
I'm hoping.
We'll thank him when he wakes up.
They started at 3. Mr. Whitiger was up way before that.
Yes.
Getting things organized. It's mind-blowing.
Awesome.
And let's talk a little about that. What reasonable person would want to do that at 3 a.m? Dawn, do you know why we start doing that so early in the morning?
Because we are guaranteed that no one has the appointment ahead of us, so you don't get pushed off because something went wrong at someone else's pour. So that's why we try to schedule as early in the morning as possible. So there's no job sneaking in front of us.
We like to be the first run of the day, if you will. That ensures us the most trucks that are on time, particularly because a lot of places we're building are out in further kind of outreaching areas. And so we don't want them to, our luck would be the concrete company has also scheduled that day, 300 trucks or 300 yards of trucks for a apartment complex parking lot, that they're going to start at 11 a.m. Okay, well, we're done by then,
right.
So we're not competing with them for any more trucks. The other thing it offers is that if something does go awry, concrete truck gets stuck, pump truck gets stuck, we got a lot of daylight to
right. Somebody's got a flat tire. Like it's not.
Yeah, we got a lot of daylight left to work this situation out. Whereas if we start at 11, something goes wrong at 5, you're on a very, very small shot clock to remedy the situation before it gets dark. So,
kind of same philosophy when you're flying. You don't want to be the last flight going to the city that you want to get to.
That's right. That's right.
Same
stand a very good chance of sleeping in an airport somewhere.
Yes, it's not fun. All right, awesome. So you've got Shonda, Richland Chambers Lake, just finished framing. Yay, that's awesome.
Very nice, Shonda.
All right, we've got Shannon. Hi there. We are pretty far in the process building in Burnett County and just got cabinets installed. Where can I get the house warranty information from? Or if you can briefly tell me what the warranty looks like, specifically for the foundation and plumbing warranty.
Okay, so we can do that. First of all, you can contact your salesperson. They can send you a copy of the warranty. No problem. And if you can't go to sleep tonight, break that buddy out and start reading it. You'll be out in like 18 minutes.
Absolutely.
So it's one of those documents. But yes, they can get you a copy of that. It's through a company called Structure, STRUCSURE, Structure Warranty. They're who underwrite our warranties with us, and so they obviously get to do their inspections too. And so here's how it works. What it's warranted against is defects. Okay, so very similar to any other kind of warranty you're talking about: car warranty, home warranty, warranty on your phone. It's warranted against defects. Different from a protection plan. They sell protection plans on these. That is not the same as a warranty. Protection plan, I pay extra if I drop it and it cracks. That's a different deal. Okay. But a warranty is warranted against defects. So let's talk defects. We built the house exactly as the engineer said. The engineer spec'd it out a certain way. We did the beams that way. We did the cable spacing that way. We tensioned it, all of this under their supervision. We crossed all the T's, dotted all the I's, and for some reason the foundation fails. Okay. 3 years go by and you've got doors that won't close, or there's some kind of separation in the foundation, or something happens. Part of it sinks, part of it rises, whatever. And then we come in and say, okay, your home is under warranty. It's everything you've done, everything that you're supposed to do. You've maintained drainage. You have didn't build any buildings beside it. Didn't plant, a big oak tree beside it, and then not water the oak tree itself on the other side. So, there are things that are homeowner responsibility to make sure the warranty is in fact in full effect. So that's how it works. And then we come out, we repair whatever needs to be done. We look at different options. Plumbing is a little bit different. So that's 10 years, by the way.
Yeah, that's 10 years.
Structural warranty. That's really talking about your slab and your frame of the home is warranted for 10 years against structural defects. And so on the plumbing, that's different. We have kind of a 10-to-1 on the warranty. So 10-year structural, 2-year on your mechanical, 1 year on basically aesthetics and appearance. So the 2-year would be on the plumbing. And again, that's offered through Tilson. That has nothing to do with the manufacturer's warranty. So for instance, our plumbing fixtures have a limited lifetime warranty through the manufacturer, through Delta. It warrants all the parts. You just have to pay for the labor. Same thing on the windows, same thing on your shingles. So very similar things, how that works. But 2 years on the plumbing. So the plumbing piping that's in the walls, that goes to the attic, all that is warranted for 2 years by Tilson. And then the manufacturer warranty takes on after that. That's the same thing for your HVAC as well as your electrical. So that's how the foundation and plumbing work. A note about homeowner responsibility, and this is in the warranty book, so ask your salesperson for it. There are some things you have to do. So if in an extreme drought situation, you need to be doing some watering. We've got some videos on that, some blogs on that of what to do, what not to do, how to do it appropriately. Also maintaining that drainage. So, be careful with landscaping, be careful with gutter downspouts and things like that, creating wet spots, and be careful with trees that are planted, or even if they're already there and you have like maybe a patch of trees on one side of the house and nothing on the other side. In a situation of a drought, you need to be watering all the way, because those trees will, gallons and gallons and gallons and gallons of water a day they'll be sucking up. And you will have uneven water distribution on that foundation. So those are things that are homeowner responsibilities. So read up on those. And again, we have some fantastic content, blog material, and videos on how to do that appropriately.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you. Lisa's saying they're planning a trip down I-35 South next month so they can put hands on the models located at Waco, Georgetown, and San Marcos. Awesome.
Very cool.
We've got Dustin saying, my wife and I like the LaSalle floor plan, but would like to modify to the size of the Canyon plan. Is combining plans an option?
Dawn, how do we go about doing that? What's the best course of action?
Yeah. So generally what we recommend, like in this case, if you want it to be the size of a canyon, you want to LaSalle the size of the canyon, start with the canyon. So it's generally just going to be more efficient to start at the size that you want to be. And then bring in the feature, like start smaller, go bigger is the better way to go. You don't want to take a big plan and start removing square footage from it, because it's going to affect the outside, and it's just, we can do it. It just is a more expensive way to go. So start with the Canyon, look at the LaSalle and say, what are the features that we like? And we can put those into the Canyon. Generally with LaSalle, it tends to be that alternate master bathroom, which we have put into almost every plan that we have. Whatever whatever those things are that you like. Probably the porch is very popular, the cathedral ceilings, with the porch on the outside. Those types of things are very easy to add into a canyon rather than trying to go and take a big plan like the Saul and make it smaller. So that's kind of how we recommend. But yes, we absolutely combine plans all the time. We've had customers who literally take our printed floor plans and cut them apart and tape them back together, and then we make that work. So yes, you can do all kinds of things with the plan. So that's very, very doable.
That's right. I agree with everything she said, by the way. 100%.
Get Angie or Lau about to put an offer for a lot that has an existing home with low value. How does it work to do a knockdown and rebuild? Will the lender need to sign off? Can this be done with the Easy Buy? Okay,
so put an offer on an existing lot that has existing home with low value.
So we got a lot with a house that we don't want to keep, basically.
Mm-hmm. All right. So yes, great question, and yes, the lender will have to sign off. Because if the fact that there's any value at all assigned to that structure means that you would need to clear that with the lender before you go demolishing that, and say, hey, here's and I would do that like on the offer if you're getting a loan for that, part of the conversation. I would even maybe potentially, and I'm not your agent, so I'm not telling you what you should do. What I have seen other people do in this situation that has helped them is make that a condition of the offer if that becomes an acceptable way for the seller, where that you can have a conversation with the lender. And then obviously they're going to get an appraisal anyway, and they will assign a value to that structure on that appraisal. So they'll break out, because the appraisal is a promulgated form, which is fancy words for everybody uses the same form to fill it in Texas. And so on the cost, they have a cost approach and a sales comparison approach. And on that sales comparison, then they're going to probably use the sales comparison approach. That's what they're going to default to. What have other things in the area sold for? That's really all that matters. And so they'll take that and they'll say, okay, land value, X amount of dollars, improvements, X amount of dollars, total value, this. Part of it's going to play into how much equity you're bringing to the deal. If you're bringing enough equity to cover the value of whatever the structure is, you might be in good shape. But yeah, great questions. It all ends up being based on the appraised value and how much value they're giving to that existing home. And I did a situation very, very similar to this, and we knew exactly before we closed what they were valuing the structure as, which was more than I was going
to say. That structure had value.
That's what it had. Yeah. Not to me. To bees and other little critters, yes, apparently it had. Yeah. It was, to them, it's a little house. A couple of trees that had grown through the middle of it,
It's fine. But good times.
Great question, though. And it can be done with Easy Buy. So once you get that value established, get with a consultant and get that. As long as you have that 10% equity position for us, we can still do that.
Okay, perfect. Brad is saying, I will double up on my questions. We'll have 3 car side load garage. We have a 25-foot build line, estimate on square footage of concrete and ballpark pricing, septic install pricing in Bell County.
Okay, so I'm gonna put you at about, I'd figure between $8 and $10 a square foot on your flat work. Get you pretty close. So flat work is 4-inch thick concrete with steel, obviously. What that does not, what the $8 a foot on that would not include would be, because I know we're talking about an out of level where you're gonna do a 10-foot cut, if I remember correctly. That doesn't include any tractor work that might need to be done to get that part of the spot level. So when I say flat work, flat is the operable word in that. That does not include getting material in to make it flat. So that need to be bid. 25-foot build line. That's going to be kind of tight. I don't know what kind of vehicles you drive. 25. I mean, that'd be the minimum that I would do to be able to come in and make a turn and pull into that garage. You might have to do have you seen the Old Spice commercial where the lady accidentally uses her husband's Old Spice shampoo and she starts backing into parking lots and things anyway, if you're a backer inner of things, that might be highly recommended if a 25-foot. If you
Mhm.
can stretch to 28 or 30, that'd be a little bit better. Otherwise, you might find where you have to pull up and then back into that furthest parking stall of the garage. In a situation like that, here's a recommendation: upgrade from a 16-foot door to an 18-foot door, so you get a
Mhm.
little bit more, literally, wiggle room to ease in there, and maybe make the other door a 9-foot door instead of an 8-foot door. So maybe have an 18-foot door and a 9-foot door instead of a 16 and an 8. It's going to be worth a little bit extra money to do that. It's not very much money at all. We're talking hundreds of dollars, and
Mhm.
that way it's not quite as tight. Septic, I bet we've got that. I bet we have that kind of pricing. I would say, it's our professional property services. Let's see. In Bell County, I'm probably going to put us at. Let me see. Here we go. I got it. Stand by. I thought I'm stalling. This is me stalling. Okay, yeah, about 14,000 for aerobic septic system. And that as long as we're not encountering rock. So if we're encountering rock, it's going to be a little bit more, probably another $800 or $1,000. But otherwise, if we're just in dirt, for a aerobic septic system for up to probably a 4-bedroom home, is going to be $14,070 for aerobic septic system, and that is on March the 21st, 2023.
Yes. All right, makes sense.
And that's permitting, that's design, that's everything. Like, no, there's not just the system, the 2-year maintenance agreement, the permit from Bell County, the design from the registered sanitarian, and then the system itself. So, and the 2-year
Okay,
maintenance agreement is
perfect.
required by the state. That's a law.
Okay. All right. We have Traveling Nurse with Trace, who says we bought and in the middle of building hasn't been a good experience. So
Well,
I'm
man, hey,
very,
tell
very,
us about
very
what's
sorry
going
to
on,
hear
and
that.
we'll see if we can help
Yeah.
you out. Yeah, we can get a hold of your building
Yep.
superintendent or the regional construction manager and get that rectified. Because as you can see, we got tons of people on here who are loving it. So
Yep.
if we got
Yeah.
something we're not doing right, we want to make it right.
Absolutely. So if you can message us either through the website or email us at tilsonnews@tilsonhome.com, or tell us what's happening. We can help you out.
Help out the way we can.
All right, we've got Angela. Love the LaSalle alternate bath. We've incorporated it into our Cypress. Yes, love that bathroom.
It's a pretty killer bathroom.
Yes,
It is.
very, very popular. We've got Misty. Roughly how much more is pier and beam foundation?
All right, Misty. Well, it kind of depend on where and how flat, but we're usually we've done it very infrequently, and I've seen it. It's not inexpensive. I mean, it's
Mhm.
$7 to $15 a square foot more to do pier and beam than it is to do slab on grade. It may be closer to that $10 to $12 amount right now because lumber isn't what it was. But back when lumber was really, really, really crazy, it was over double what a slab on grade was costing to do. So, but also tell us what you're trying to accomplish with that. If it's just the look that you want, we might be able to accomplish that just by raising the slab 6 or 10 inches for less money. But yeah, let us know. But if it's a floodplain deal, I totally understand, and it may have to be on pier and beam. So let us know, and we can. It is something that we are always looking for another way to do that, and it depends on where it's being done as to how far along we are on that.
Okay, perfect. We've got Lisa. We like the Magnolia and want a bonus room, but have decided we don't need the theater room part of the bonus room. Is there credit if we decide not to build out the theater room part?
Possibly, but it's not going to be that much, Lisa. I mean, because really the work is already going into it. The roof is there. Obviously, the joists are there. So there's probably not going to be a huge cost savings, but I mean, it would be a little less, right? I mean, there's some sheetrock and some floor coverings and some baseboard there, but it's not like a bathroom or a kitchen where there's cabinets and countertops, a bunch of electrical fixtures, and
Right.
expensive light fixtures and things like that. It's just, there's some savings, but I don't want to set an expectation it's going to be tens of thousands of dollars less, because it's not. So.
Okay. All right. James is asking, when looking at plans and prices, what other items should we be mindful of that we will be put out of pocket for that are not included in the planned build price?
What are some of the things, Dawn, that they may have to have put in?
So your all your utility connections. So if you need a septic system, that's something connecting your electrical, your water source. Do you need a well, or can you connect to city, or is there's some other water source out there? You've got to figure out how to do that. Land clearing is something that you would be responsible for. So doing that work there, putting in your construction drive. You may, if you're in an area where you need a culvert, that's going to be something that's additional. And then also look, depending on how far back you're setting your home, the distance for the electrical line. If we're dealing with rock, there may be some additional cost for cutting through that to get those lines in, those types of stuff. And then whatever kind of final landscaping, driveway, flat work you're looking to do. And then, as Eric mentioned before, your refrigerator, washer, and dryer are not included, but all your other appliances are. So those would be the additional costs that you're looking at.
And James, a lot of those things we can bid for you. The only reason we don't include them in the base price is because we never know, are we building on, an infill city lot, or are we building on 23,000 acres? Because we've built on both. And so it's we don't include a septic system price because some people don't need a septic system, and they range from $8,000 to $28,000, depending on what size or kind of system and where it's being done. So, basically the plans you're looking at on the internet, on our website, is going to be the house completely finished, stubbed out for all the utilities, right? With up to 50 feet of electrical and water line included. So that's what you can kind of go off of, and then get with one of our sales consultants, and they can get much more granular with you. Hey, you want us to do a construction drive? We'll get you a price on that. You want us to do the clearing? We'll get you a price on that. You want us to do the septic system? We've got all that. Like I was telling earlier, for Bell County, that's the price for us to handle everything: the design, the permitting, the 2-year maintenance agreement, the whole shoot and match. So great question, and something to be very aware of. But the good news is, before we ever drive a nail, you will know everything that is included, what's not included, and what those are going to cost to get the house done, because we can't get paid until the house is completed and hooked up to all that stuff. So we're going to make sure that you have a very clear path to victory on getting those hooked up before we start construction.
Yep. Awesome. Brad is sharing, here's our one with the 3-car garage. The third garage is for the motorcycle and storage. He does not want his better half backing up.
I didn't say it.
Look, with the cameras now, it's a lot better than it used to be.
Here's a little confession time at the Alarid house. So
Rachel did very well when we went out.
She did. Yeah. Well, there's no garage doors in the way, so she has tried to widen two of the houses we've lived in. Tried to widen the garage door opening with 2 separate vehicles. The garage is undefeated, totally undefeated. And now we'll do Eric confession time. The only time I've ever backed into anything was on the very first vehicle we ever had that had a backup camera in the middle of an empty parking lot in College Station, Texas, going to an NFL football game, on the one light pole that was in the middle of this 6-acre parking lot. This guy found it.
You found it? You found it?
Yeah, because I was trusting the camera, which I shouldn't have been doing. I should have done the old school, but I didn't. Trusted Acura's camera system. How fancy. Yeah, backed right into it.
Okay, Acura and Honda backup system's not good.
I know.
Well, and they're all a little off. You kind of have to know your car.
Oh, Coach, this was 2007. This was very early, granular, Mario Brothers resolution. Okay, 8-bit pixelated. Awesome. Is that a dog? Is that a pole? Is that part of the parking lot?
What is that?
That's a pole. 100% sure.
Nice.
My granddad was with me.
Oh,
in the
that wasn't embarrassing.
He looked at me, he's like, "How's that camera?" It's terrible.
Not good.
Let's go watch a football game. We'll talk about this later.
All right. We've got Dustin asking, what is the current total build time in today's market for Somerset, Texas?
Hey, Dustin, I'd figure on about 16 months total time. So you're in Southwest Bexar County. That's an area that's kind of loosening up a little bit. You get too far west and northwest of that, it's still very, very long lead times, even southwest of that. But Southwest Bexar County, we've got pretty good coverage there, a much larger trade base. They're not far from San Antonio at all, and 16-month total time. So that's from the time that you give your deposit, all design, all color selection stuff, permitting, engineering, site evaluation, and construction. is about 16 months.
Okay, perfect.
Less if we can do it.
We've got Christopher sharing that he went from bare ground to being all framed up in a month. Shout out to Summer and the guys who are out there getting things done in not so great weather. Awesome.
Oh, Chris, thanks for sharing that, man. I appreciate that.
Thank you for sharing that. We've got Lisa asking if we have any new plans coming out soon.
Never enough, Dawn. It's never enough.
I know. Lisa, you got to just tell us what you're looking for, and we can customize it to get to what you got. But we have a couple that just came out. So I don't know if you've seen the Arlington and the Brazoria. Those launched in the past couple months. So check those out for sure. The next thing that we have on tap, it's not a new plan, but it's a refresh of I guess 2 existing plans. We're going to be combining the Driftwood and the Cypress into one plan. So you'll see additional elevations for the Driftwood and then some additional options that kind of combine those 2 together. That's the next thing. Then after that, we do have the model that we're working on for Republic Grand Ranch. That'll be a new plan launch that's coming out later this year. We're also working on a refresh of the Fayetteville. We're kind of in the refresh season of some of our models of just kind of sprucing those up and getting more custom options, changing out some of the elevations on those. So that's what we've got coming. But if you have something, if we're missing something for you, because I know you've been at TBD plan for a while, just come on when you go on your trip. Come on in and let's design something that's right for you.
Yeah, I mean, again, of course, guys on the website, the custom options are, I mean, they're vast. There's a bunch of them, but you're not limited necessarily to those. They all work. Right. They're proven, like they're drafted. They're done where they will actually function. Door swings are good. Appliance placement is good. Cabinet swings are good. So I wouldn't deviate too far from those if you don't have to, but you're not limited to those. So if there's but I mean, I was playing with it this morning earlier for a person I was talking to, a friend of my brother's, and my little brother. Chris doesn't have any friends, my older brother, but Andy has friends. So anyway, working with one of theirs, and I was just playing with the Arlington, playing with the Canyon, and playing with the Angelina, and I'm like, there's nothing like just 4-bedroom options, additional bathrooms, alternate kitchens, alternate garages. Like there's got to be something there that can get you through, Lisa. So yeah, I mean, spend some time and sit down with a consultant and tell them what what are your must-haves, what are your like-to-haves, and maybe make a list first. And by make a list, I mean tell your husband all the things that you want that he's going to have to concede to. That's what's called working together, making a list.
Compromise.
Compromise. Exactly. That's compromise. And then take that, those ideas into your consultant and say, hey, these are the things we absolutely have to have, can't live without. Like, this is why we're moving. This is why we're dissatisfied where we currently live. And then say, these are things that we'd really, really love to have. That'd be awesome. But it's not like if we don't have it, it's the end of the world. And then these are the things that, we really aren't important to us. Formal dining room, something like that, and tell your consultant that, because they may be able to say like, well, hey, cool, let's use this plan that has a formal dining room. I'll turn that into your study. Yeah. And let's move on down the road. So great feedback. That's my feedback for that. That's my advice for you, Lisa. That's my life advice for today.
Awesome. We've got FJ Music. Hey guys, closing early next month. We are happy campers. Awesome. Glad to hear that.
Thank you.
We've got Marissa asking, will y'all be having any live information on Casitas? I'd like to build one next to my Driftwood. So we do actually have a blog post that takes you through the Casita, that shows you what those floor plans are. We do not have a live plan on that, but that is something we can definitely look into. Yeah,
because we're going to have one here pretty quick in Waco, Texas. We're
going to have a 2-bedroom one in Waco that we can show everybody.
Yep, and might even get. So yeah, you know what? Thank you, Marissa. We were always looking for ideas. We will do a live on Casitas. It'll be a short live.
She also says we'd be more than welcome to film hers once it's done. Awesome. We can do that. We can do both.
Did you get my dad joke? It'll be a very short live. It'll be a very small live.
Very short, very small live. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Oh.
Everyone's welcome. You can't have that 3 seconds of your life back. None of you.
Lisa's asking, any plans getting retired soon? I just don't want to waste any time on those. That I know of, no plans for retirement. We will be, if you look at the Brazoria and the Magnolia, you'll notice that they are a little similar. So we will be discontinuing the second elevation on the Magnolia. But if you're in love with that, go over to the Brazoria, because you can pretty much do everything over on that plan. but nothing else going away that I know of. Let's see. Brad is saying we need to do a video walkthrough of the Paladuro going up at San Marcos. Just a thought. We can do that too. Awesome.
Can do. Yep. I'll go check internet.
Yeah.
Check internet bandwidth.
Maybe we'll pre-record that because we've learned internet's a little spotty. And we'll also be doing another one of the behind the sheetrock seminars out there soon because we're getting close to mechanicals there. So excited for that. We've got Diana hoping for slab pour tomorrow outside Moody, Texas. Awesome.
Let's hope the weather holds. Let the weather hold.
Yeah. We got Dustin. Thank you guys for doing these sessions and engaging with your interested audience. Looking forward to joining the Tilson family in the future. Oh, thanks, thank you, Dustin.
We appreciate that. Thanks for the feedback.
Yeah. And then Diana is asking, can you describe the window measurements in plans?
Dawn, how do you do? What is the deal here? Do you have a work copy pulled up? I do not.
I do not have a work copy pulled up, but let me see. I may have something else handy. Hold on.
Oh.
Haha. I have the how to read a floor plan presentation.
That is the sound of victory, by the way. That is the Dawn Dantzler sound of victory.
I have it loaded.
Diana, you asked and you shall receive. Here we go.
All right. Diana, windows. Okay. So the way that windows, when you're looking at your plans, here are all the things that you're going to see on the windows. So in this case, this number 2 is telling you how many windows there are. So that 2 that's in front of the dash is how many windows. And then you're going to see 2 numbers. So what's highlighted in yellow, the 30, that is the width of the window in feet and inches. So a 30 is 3 feet wide. The next 2 numbers are going to be your height, again in feet and inches. So that's what's shown here in purple. So 3050 means it's a 3 foot wide by a 5 foot tall window. In this case, there's 2 of them side by side. Is what those measurements are. And then we're going to have a bunch of other letters after it. So this kind of shows you what those mean. In this case, it's a single hung window. That means it's gonna open up. So if you see SH, that's what that means. If you see FX, that means it's a fixed window. So that's a solid pane of glass, not going to open. And then you also might see TEMP to let you know that it's tempered glass, or if it's obscured, that would be marked as well. And then the next 2 letters that you're going to see, which is kind of in that pinkish color here, is telling you what the style is. On your plans, it's just going to say DL divided light, or won't say anything, which means that we're not putting any type of division in it. It's not going to notate exactly what that divide is. So if you've picked out, prairie versus, 1/1 or what,
or whatever, yeah.
Whatever, that's not going to be designated here. You're going to want to look at the actual elevation. That's where that's shown. But this will just indicate, does it have any kind of divider in it or not? And then you'll also see the header height is in there as well, which tells you how tall this window actually goes. So great question. Thanks for asking.
Great question, Diana. Yeah.
And
all right. So we'll make this kind of
last question I see.
Last call for questions. You guys have put on this show for us. We didn't do anything. I mean, basically we just showed up and answered y'all's questions. But yeah, it's been 55 minutes. So we'll do a last call for questions and talk a little bit about. So Dawn, we got like I said, we're at the mechanical stage, getting close to the mechanicals in San Marcos on the Paladuro model. So we'll pause a little bit there so we can do seminars and some photography, probably maybe a video or 2.
Yeah, maybe some new videos showing off some spray foam.
Yep. And then in Waco, we are getting very close to completion on
very excited.
All 3 of those buildings there. So yeah, super excited about the Tampico, the Angelina, and the Casita that we'll be using as a color room and officing out of. So if you haven't made an appointment, go check those out. There'll be more to come in the coming months on some grand opening celebrations that will be.
Yep, we'll be having a party during the summer. It's gonna be great.
Love it. Don't worry, there'll be air conditioning. That'll be all right.
Yes.
I think they do another seminar.
I'm gonna check with Richard and see if we are at a place where we can stop. Because that's his. I don't know. I gotta plan my favors. I gotta get him to stop the Paladuro. Is he gonna want to stop Waco?
He loves stopping production. It's he loves it.
Yeah,
He loves
like all builders, he loves it when
when
things
he gets
come to a
momentum
complete
going, what he
halt.
likes to do is
Yes.
stop the
Yeah.
momentum. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, well, very cool. All right, well, folks, thank you all for watching. It doesn't end here, right? We got 12 locations across the state, open 7 days a week, yearning to answer your questions. It's what they want to do. They are there for you. Models to tour, consultants to sit down with. We got new home specialists waiting for you online to make your appointment to answer your high level questions. How does it work? Give me an overview of the process. Guys, we're here for you. Like the whole point is education. We got a ton of content. We got a YouTube channel. We got a Facebook page. We got Instagram.
We got a website. Everything's on there.
Award-winning website. So yeah, there's tons of information there. You can get stalled for hours playing with customization of floor plans. Don't get stuck. If you got questions or you don't see a design feature that works for you,
or you try to put on something and something else disappears, doesn't mean we can't do it together.
That happened to me.
Means that the website can't figure it out, and
that's right.
Our people can figure it out.
Yep, we are still human. Humans are still better than artificial intelligence. I'm here to tell you that.
100%.
Yep. So anyway, with all of that, we hope that these things are helpful for you guys. Dawn, thank you for putting this on.
Absolutely.
Thanks for the behind the scenes, folks. We appreciate y'all very much. And thank you all for watching these and engaging with us and asking questions. That's the whole point we do this. And we hope this is beneficial to you. And we genuinely soon to hope make you part of the Tilson family. We'll see all y'all next time.
Bye, everybody.